going to introduce tonight's celebrity guest, guys. Tonight, we're thrilled to welcome a mega successful real estate investor and entrepreneur who transitioned from running a thriving Amazon business and also being in the corporate world to coaching others in achieving their financial dreams through his Purpose Ways high-performance mindset coaching program, including myself. This is where everything started for myself. So I'm super excited for him to share his inspiring journey of overcoming limiting beliefs and self-imposed limitations, and how his powerful mindset has played a critical role in his success. And as a multifamily real estate investor himself, he'll reveal the behind the scenes details of his journey, including how he built his power team and balanced his business with his relationships, all while following his intuition to create wealth and security. With his expertise in real estate investing and high performance mindset coaching, he will provide valuable insight and tips for not just the seasoned investor, but also the beginners alike to help maximize their returns and achieve, here is the big point, financial freedom. It's what we all talk about, right? So if you're ready, guys, to unlock your potential and take your multifamily real estate investing to the next level, I'm super excited to tell you, you're in the right place tonight, guys. And with that being said, I'm super thrilled to announce and introduce to you tonight the Multifamily Freedom Chasers community, my brother from another mother, Keston Glasgow. What's up, brother?
Come on, let's do it. Let's do it. Where the fire's in the chat at? Come on, y'all.
Hey!
Come on.
Yes.
What's up, brother?
Appreciate
I was
you guys,
like, man, I have to play the song for my bro.
I was gonna ask for it anyway, man. So I'm glad you read my mind.
That's right. So you read my mind too, man, because I was like, I wonder if we need to do that Keston's like intro song, man, his classic intro song. And you just nailed it, bro. You nailed it.
No, legitimately 10 minutes ago, I was like, man, I need to switch the song, on
That's
the
right.
side. I was playing around a little bit. Make it work. Bro, super excited for you to be here. Thanks for making the time.
That's awesome, man. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure. I mean, just even being here and seeing your journey, Marcel, Trevor, Victor, I met later on. Victor, what's up, brother? How you doing? And I see so many familiar faces, David and Lynn and Aldo, Jen. Like, I'm excited to be here, bro. And thank you guys for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here,
bro.
Absolutely.
It's actually how do you call it? A pity that we haven't had you on before. Matter of fact, we talked about it this week. How did we not have you on before? That's the real question.
Everything you guys were putting in the work, bro, and building and everything is in God's timing, man. And so even at this point, I'm still super excited to be here, brother.
Man, if it wasn't, again, I really want to reiterate that to everybody here. If it wasn't for Keston, none of this would be the case, because I tell you, last summer, this is how I started, right? Last summer, I was like, I know I need to change something. I was like super successful at my 9-to-5, but I wasn't really that consistent. So I didn't have that consistent success in my real estate journey, right? On the single family side. And I was like, I need to change something. And I knew Keston from the Sub 2 community, not in person really, but I saw him everywhere. I saw
That's
him.
Right.
Yeah, I saw you grow, right? I saw you becoming really successful. And then I saw you putting out, the coaching, and you were giving more advice, and you put out your program, right? And I was like, man, you know what? I feel somewhat of a connection there, because you're not just throwing something out there. I saw you progress into that, right? And then we hopped on a call, man. And what was that? Like a 2-hour phone call, and noticed like how actually there are similarities, and you're legitimately like an hour and a half down the road. So I knew there was like a personal relationship as well coming up, if we go down this journey. So man, that is my activator, right? Right here. I'm telling you.
And guys, I'll tell you, one of the greatest compliments that I've gotten in coaching period comes from Marcel's wife, right? when she seen me and said, "What did you do to my husband?" When it is that someone is working on themselves, no matter what, and it's people, family members, it doesn't matter, they're able to see change, not because you're saying it, but because you're showing up different, man, that by itself speaks volumes. And Marcel, bro, I can't, people like you are the reason why I do what I do. Just to kind of see you fly off and do your thing and have that plan and execute on it, right? Like activate and actually execute. And super proud of you, brother. Super proud of you guys.
I appreciate you, man. Look, she's even in the chat. She said, "Hi, Keaton."
What's up, Liz?
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Really, you were the start for me, and I was able. I'm so excited to then pour that out to others as well, right? And that's how I met Trevor, how I met Victor, and how we met everybody here now. But tonight, it's not about me at all. It's not about us. Matter of fact, it's about everybody else, and most importantly, about you. So what we like to do, right? How we like to get started here usually is with a simple question, and that simple question is, who actually is Keston Glasgow?
Ooh, that's a deep question, man.
I know, right?
So,
we could go for an hour now.
I know. Who am I? Keston is this kid that came from Trinidad and Tobago. That's where I was born, and moved to the US with my family because just really seeking a better way of life. And in moving to the US, my family and I, we moved to Brooklyn, New York. And when we moved, we were immigrants. No one had their papers. We couldn't work legally. And so I started working in my church, at my local church, man, and really started just sweeping the floors and mopping the floors. I was the guy that would come in and get things ready for, like, if they rented out the hall on a Saturday evening, and was the last guy there to leave because I had to clean the halls up before church the Sunday. And did that for a while because I wanted to help provide to the family. Then moved on to starting to hand out flyers to Golden Crust. I wanted more money, so I started handing out flyers for Golden Crust in the city. And as I moved on, I started doing construction, and any way I could have gotten money, I took it. I was looking for another way because I was determined that I wasn't going to just sit at home and do nothing. Right. And so finally I got my papers to actually work, and I started working at Apple, worked my way up there. And, every level, and maybe some of you guys could relate to this, but who remembers? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember saying, man, God, as soon as you get me to $50,000, I'm gonna be happy. Like, all I need is that first $50,000 a year, and I'm good, right? And then you get there, and then it's like, hold on, 100,000, right? It's like 100,000. Get me to 100,000 a year, and I don't need anything else. I've made it. And so that kept being my story. And I got to the place where I wasn't doing construction anymore. I wasn't handing out flyers anymore. I was actually on the 34th floor of a building in Manhattan as a cybersecurity engineer, making well into the 6 figures. And I had this window view that I would continuously just look to Brooklyn. You could see Brooklyn from Manhattan, and I'll look over the Brooklyn Bridge and really just stand there and think that there had to be more to life. There had to be a lot more to life. And every Monday you would come to work, and you're in conference rooms with your boss, your coworkers, and just doing the same thing over and over. And I actually liked my job. I liked my job a lot, but it still felt like there was something within me that needed to be expressed. And when I think about going out and saying, like all of this real estate. Look at all of these buildings. I could do this, or I could have this company or something like that. Then the question of, but how are you going to pay for insurance, dude? Like without, like, what's going to happen? You got a wife, you got a kid, you got kids. Like, what's going to happen when you leave? Do you really think you can make it on your own? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever had those thoughts. Like how the heck is this going to happen? Right. And after some time, it just kept me stuck. It kept me stuck. It kept me at my job longer than I actually wanted to be there. And while giving you guys this story, I can remember vividly being at my desk one day. I called my wife in tears, frustrated, like wanting to leave so bad, but did not know what to do. And it's just like, I'm spiritual. So it's like, man, is this God trying to teach me a lesson? What is he saying? Like, and I had this thing that I was going to retire from working in corporate job by the age of 34. And that age was 2020. So when 2020 got here and COVID happened, we had just started learning real estate in January of 2020. And by the time COVID happened, a lot of interesting things started happening. As you all know, the world started shutting down, and my job, they were starting to cut positions. And so they were trying to incentivize people and say, hey, you could take a severance package and leave, or we could fire you. So you got some time to think about it. You could take either one. And I remember coming home to my wife, and it's like, babe, I think this is it. And again, she's like, I don't know. And shortly before that, I got another job opportunity to, like, where my old boss wanted me to come to work for him. He wanted to pay me $50K more than I was already making. So it was like all these opportunities, but I wanted to leave. And I took it. We took it. And my boss at the time was saying, I'm cybersecurity. They need more cybersecurity people now through COVID more than ever. So we were safe. But that thing inside of me, giving me, they said they were going to give me 6 months of pay and insurance and all these different things for 6 months. And I said, babe, we could do this in 6 months. We could do real estate. We could figure it out in 6 months. Guys, this is my experience. Please, this is not advice, because we did not do one deal before leaving. And so I will not advise people to do this. I'm just sharing what I did. And I left July 1st, 2020 was my last day at work. And from July 1st to December 2020, we wholesaled 1.5 times my 6-figure salary in those 6 months.
Wow.
In 2022, we went from 1 to 21 doors. We joined another mentorship, learned how to do deals creatively, and we were able to really start doing the thing, right? And I'm really glazing over a lot of what it took to get there. And many of you, I met a lot of you in 2022 when I started doing multifamily, and we closed on our first 48-unit property and kind of started just going on from there. But I want to go back, because here it is where who is Keston really comes in. That process, that commitment in 2020, and not when I left my job, the commitment came before that. The commitment came at the end of 2019, when my wife and I sat in the living room of my basement apartment at the time and said, we were going to commit to doing real estate. This was what we were going to commit to finally. And the commitment started there. We paid a pretty nice tuition to get into the first mentorship. And that's where it started. I hired a high performance coach for myself because I didn't know what I didn't know, because I felt like I was working with every hour of the day, where I was waking up at 4, doing Uber at 4, from 4 to 6. Then I would go to my job, then come back and then do real estate. And we sold t-shirts, Amazon company. Man, I had something to do for every single hour of the day, but I still felt stuck. And so I knew that there was something that I just didn't know. And my high performance coach really helped me to figure things out, which is what then later inspired me to become one, because I'm like, I want to share this gift with everyone. Because if I could be unstuck from someone helping me and giving me guidance, I want to be able to give this gift to others. And so that's kind of the long version of who am I.
I love it. I love it. You got to tell the guy thank you from me as well. So he activated you, so you can activate others like me and Trevor, obviously too, right? But real quick, Trevor, there's one point I want to reiterate here and really point out. You did that before you got those 21 doors going on and everything, right? So you started your performance coaching before the success came rolling in, right? On the real estate side and on the entrepreneurial side, like leaving your job essentially, right? And what I like to refer here, recently I reflected on this, is a phrase that is, if you put high performance fuel, right? The best high quality fuel in a Toyota, you know, it's still just going to perform as good as a Toyota, you know? But if you put that high performance fuel in a Ferrari, you know, now it really accelerates, right? Because if you put that poor fuel in a Ferrari, it's not going to perform as well, right? But once you put that real fuel in there, it performs well. And what I try to say by that is you developed into the right person to be able to take action on the content, right? The real estate mentorship content that was delivered to you, to take action and perform on it, right? Because let's be honest, all the information is out there. Everyone can figure it out.
Yeah.
But you need to be ready for it.
100%, dude. And here's the example. If we were to go on cars, talk about cars, here's what I find people do all the time. If you have a car, do you only work on the fuel? Is it enough to just have good fuel in your car? Probably not.
No,
probably not. You need to have good spark plugs. Without good spark plugs, your car is going to misfire and it's not going to go very far. But not only that, you need a good tire pressure as well. But not only that, you got to make sure it has brake fluid. And then you got to make sure it has engine oil. And then there's so many things to a car that you need. And it's the same for us, where what we typically do, most people, they're like, oh man, I'm working on my finances. I'm trying to hustle and I'm trying to get financial freedom. But on the other side, their family suffers. The relationship with their kids suffer. Like other things start suffering. And then they're like, you know what? Okay, let me pause on doing financial freedom stuff. Let me work on my family. And now the business is dead. Right. And so there's this flip flop, and you don't only work on having a good paint job on your car. All things have to be running optimally always. Right. And there may be times something breaks down, sure, but you get that fixed. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do, even in real estate, it's not good enough to have a good entity structure. You can't. You got to have a good entity structure. You got to have good marketing. You got to have good bookkeeping. You got to have, like, there is quite a few different things that you have. All these things need attention, but also you, a person, that spiritual being also needs attention. And it's not an absence of the other. And when I see people say, oh yeah, that whole mindset stuff, that whole thing, I'll come back when I get the deals. I'm like, all right, okay. You're not gonna get the deals because you don't have the fuel, right? You don't have the thought process. And so it's this balance and act that it's super interesting, because your outside world is created by your internal world, right? And without understanding that your internal world creates your external world, where are you going?
So
That's
true.
good. Keston, when you were doing your high performance coaching, what was the process like to dig out those sticking points for you so that you at least realize that they were there, right? Because that's half the battle, I guess, is just to realize what your sticking points are. And then what was the process to work through those and, I guess, change those underlying paradigms to level yourself up, so to speak?
Man, what a great question. So for me, productivity was a very big one for me, because I felt, like I said, I felt like I couldn't do any more, and I was already like so productive. And once I learned, my coach taught me how to minimize my distractions, because and I felt like I was already like a BMW, but she was taking me to like Formula One racing, right? Like I felt like I already had a lot of things going on. And so I started implementing little things like this. And this changed a lot for me. You guys could implement this in your lives right now and watch your productivity change. When she started helping me with these little things like disabling my notifications, that one thing changed a big piece of like game for me. Social media notifications. Here's the reason why. Everything that pop up on your phone is pulling you away from what you said you were going to do. True. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You plan your day out and you believe you're doing that, but every notification, oh, somebody liked my post. Let me go see who liked my post and what they commented on my post. Oh my gosh, let me respond to David. David, thank you. You know, like fires in the chat, right? Like all these different things. And now there's 5-10 minutes gone, robbed from your day. Another thing was I started to, and people look at me now as to how I plan my day, but they didn't see the Kes who was super frustrated sitting down at my kitchen table with tears in my eyes, crying to my wife, saying that this planning thing is so frustrating. I don't think this is for me. And she's encouraging me to continue going. Like people they didn't see that. Right? They see this guy that is so structured and all that type of stuff, but I wanted to quit at this crap so many times because I used to say my brain is a computer. I could do it all in my brain. And so I was doing something that was very unnatural for me, very unnatural. But the commitment of saying that I wasn't going to do it my way anymore because my way got me to the place that I was going to commit to following whatever advice the person I paid told me. Whoever I paid, I was going to listen. I was going to empty my cup and be filled with whatever they said because they've done what I want to do. And once I started taking that approach, and planning was probably one of the most effective things. And again, I was that guy that didn't have time for my family as well. And the tips that I was taught into how I could give my wife enough time and 100%, and then give the business 100% on the other side, how do you balance that? How do you be on date nights and not need to speak to a seller because they're calling you? Because my wife would tell me, hey, I feel like the business is more important than me. Like, we're here, we're hanging out, and you're answering buyers and all this type of stuff. And before, my justification was, I'm doing this for the family.
Right.
I'm doing this for us. How dare you not understand? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized, and those of you who've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, there's a part in the book where he talks about the secretary and the money actually controlling her versus emotionally you controlling money. And that lesson did something for me, where I started to control money, and I started practicing this. And guys, if you want to work on your discipline, here's how I built my discipline strength, especially when it came to this. Every lunchtime, I would have lunch by myself with my phone upside down and not answer the phone. Oh my God. It was hard. It was hard because all of a sudden on my watch, I'm seeing buyer calling, seller calling, and I'm like, oh my God. And it's stressing me out because I'm doing this to me now, right? Like, the phone is right there. You can pick it up. You're eating. What? Just pick it up. Like, close this deal, dude. Like, that's probably 10K calling you right now.
Yeah.
Right? But then it was like, if I don't control my emotions and allow this money, if every time money called me and I was jumping towards it, money controls me, I don't control the money.
Mm.
And so I built my muscle practicing doing that because of how my wife felt. That's what got me to start doing it, because I was committed to being a husband first before any business. And then I started doing that. And let me tell you what started happening afterwards. And then I started doing it on purpose, because when I would call a seller back, and let's say I was on date night or something like that, and I would call them back after, like, I got home or whatever, I'm like, oh, sorry about that, man. I was on date night with my wife. They would be like, dude, like, how old are you? That's amazing. Like, it's so honorable that you're taking your wife out and blah, 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 boom, instant rapport, right?
Yep, that's right.
So the thing that was controlling me ended up being the thing that built relationships with me and these sellers and buyers in a way that I could not have faked. And now all of a sudden we're best friends because of me being on date night with my wife and controlling money. Like, it's crazy.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
Authenticity.
Keston, one thing that I struggle with conceptually is, what is high performance, right? Like, when you were describing getting up at 4 a.m. and you're doing this and doing that all day, like, if you had asked me, is that high performance? I would have said, absolutely, it's high performance. Look how much he's doing throughout the day. But could you just unpack a little bit, like, what is your definition of somebody that is performing at a high level?
High performance, man. And I believe everyone would have a different response to what high performance is, right? High performance is simply taking you from where you are to a higher level. That's simply what it is, right? Like we're talking a lot about cars today. So it's like you adding on, just changing your exhaust that gives you a little bit more horsepower, right? Changing your fuel that just gets you off the starting block a little bit faster. It's those little things I like to compare it to the story of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, because they used to work out their pinkies. right? They would work out little things because it's when it's when everyone is tired and it comes back down to the foundation. It's the basic moves, the basic things, the things that could get you a little bit further than the person that gets tired at a certain place. Could you continue on? Could you continue moving? Could you get to that next level? And so I deal with high performance based on your definition. I could give you mine, but wherever that next level for you is, that's where I take you. Everyone, they're not going to do what I do, right? And I used to have that unrealistic expectation that everyone should do what I did, but it was unrealistic. That's the equivalent of of Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, all these guys coming in and saying, y'all need to do it exactly how I did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you do not have to wake up at 4 a.m. if you're a night person. I used to tell people you need to, right? I'm going to be fully transparent. I would tell someone that you need to if you want to be successful, but you may be built different than I am, right? You may be more productive later at night than at 4 a.m. in the morning. My wife is saying amen out there. That's because I would put pressure on her, right? And it wasn't until I started to really understand that people are built differently. And so you could be a high performer at doing different things in your own way versus trying to follow a cookie cutter thing from me, because we're all different. And anyone that comes into my program, I listen to what works for you. I listen to what makes you tick. I understand you, and then I help boost you to the next level.
Amen. That is true. I can tell that firsthand. And what I love, Keston, is also the bluntness, right? I mean, but still in a comfortable-ish way, I would say, right? Like, meaning respectful way, maybe, because I know, some people have a little bit of a tougher skin, some have a little bit of a smaller skin, whatever you want to call it, right? But
yeah,
you know how to push the buttons, right? You know exactly how to do that, and I appreciate that. For me, I always need this one here, straight to the nose, punch to the nose,
yeah.
boom. I loved it, and I know you did that.
Well, I'll tell you, man. I am not a therapist. You're not welcome to come lay on my chair and tell me your sad stories.
Yeah.
I am a coach. My job is to get you from where you are to where you said you wanted to go to. It's not my job for you to love me in a passionate way like that. You're going to love me when you get the results.
That's right.
Right? And that's the relationship I have with my clients. Because if it is, and guys, listen to this. If it is that you are always in agreement with your coach about everything he says or she says, it's not the right coach for you. And I'll tell you why. If you're in agreement, it means that you already know everything the coach is saying, which means that you're still in your comfort zone. Because if you already know everything this coach is saying, then why aren't you doing it and implementing it? Your coach should be pushing you to something that makes you uncomfortable. You don't go to the gym with a coach and every workout he gives you is just like, oh man, this is awesome. How you doing? What was that like? Every single coach that I have had in the gym, I hated them in my mind while working out. I'm like, this mother. Like, it's because they're pushing you. That's their job. Anytime they see that you can handle the weight, oh, it's time for you to go up. Give some more reps. That's the job of a coach. And so if you're hearing and you want your coach to just be nice and I'm not your coach. I'm here to help you, to get you the results that you said you want to. And it's going to be a little uncomfortable. But I'm also not going to waste time sugarcoating, trying to articulate in the best way, like take 30 minutes to tell you something that I could tell you in 5 seconds.
You still do it in a good way, though. I mean, I must say, I saw that on the graduation weekend that you hosted for your current students. And you can see how some have a stronger character and some have a less stronger character. And you're very firm, but yet they buy in, right? It's not like that they feel discouraged or down, whatever. You can see the passion there. Keston, when someone starts coaching with you, right? You mentioned, first of all, you're going to have this conversation where you listen, where you want to understand where they are at and everything, right? But in light of time and for everyone here to understand also a little bit, like what are some of the top 2 things, that you dive into that people take away usually from the beginning, right? I know for me, it was understanding why I am the way I am, and that how I do anything really is how I do everything. Like these kind of little things started it for me, right? What do you see with obviously more clients that you now had over the last month or year? What do you see are some of the main points, main takeaways that you attack and that these clients take away in the beginning?
That's such a fantastic question, man. And the first one I'm going to share, you probably wouldn't even believe it, but one of the main things that clients go through or they say they want it, but they really do not. You want freedom, you say it sounds good, but you really don't want it. And here's why. The reason why most clients actually at the core doesn't want it is because they're afraid when they have it, what happens next, right? So everyone right now wants a multifamily. If I were to give you a multifamily right now, you're going to be scared out of your rockers. Every single person who hasn't owned one before. You're going to be scared out of your rockers because now it's like, oh crap, now I have it. What do I do? What if I fail? And these things happen subconsciously. It's not your predominant thoughts. It's subconsciously you start to abort and not do things. And this is why I'm here and I see it and I'm able to coach them back into place. And we talk about it. And then I also reaffirm the support when they do buy it. And so it's helping them actually believe that they have the steps. I'll give you one quick story. I had a client who just graduated this last semester who already had, peep this, he already had Airbnbs that was more than his 9-to-5 income.
Wow.
He's already doing well. But was always happy to talk about how much his 9-to-5 was keeping him back, instead of letting go of the 9-to-5 and giving his all to the real estate business. I always had an excuse to say that my 9-to-5 job was keeping me back. And so now people can't judge me if I fail as a real estate investor. So that fear of failure, although he had already had financial freedom, that fear of failure was stronger than his desire for financial freedom. And so where was financial freedom for him? It was mental freedom.
Wow.
He was mentally bound by society and the handcuffs.
Yeah.
And so once we were able to talk through, put things in place, teach him how to set up his day, because that was also a fear. He didn't know what he was going to do with his time and all this type of stuff. Now he left his job. And so now he's free doing things. And I still get calls from him because now he doesn't have the business friends like he had 9-to-5 coworkers.
Yeah.
And so now the community, like all of these things that you don't think about, that's crippling a lot of people. And you have no idea why you're not making the calls, why you're not underwriting the deals, why you're not doing these things. Subconsciously, these things are haunting you. But if you have the excuse of being able to say, I don't have time, I'm busy. Like, this is where I call you out, right? This is the call out that I lovingly do. But until we hold that up in front of your face, then you can't face this fear. And so we were able to help him face his fear and help him get out of his 9-to-5 job and start living as a full-time real estate investor.
Amazing. Yeah, I must say, Keston, I was highly impressed, right? I mean, I think I was part of your first coaching class, right? And like the first group class.
One of the group classes, yeah.
Exactly. And we were like, I think 10, right? We were 10 people. And when you told me, hey, come to the graduation, it's the first graduation in person that I do. And I really wanted to be there so hard, speaking at another event, and then made it for like half an hour or so, an hour we were there, I think, right? It was amazing seeing like, what was it, like 30 people sitting around a fire, you know, and everyone just completely like bought into you, like, and you just slowly but surely like talking one-to-one, one person, you know, one event, one struggle, whatever it was, right, that you were doing there. I mean, wow, right? And incredible. And you could see how these people changed, like the change, you know, was absolutely there. So insane. In light of time, everybody, matter of fact, are you guys getting value from this? Are you guys feeling it? Do you feel like this is helping you? Is there at least like a nugget that you were able to get out of it? Like, throw some stuff in the chat. It doesn't have to be fires. It can be stilettos or whatever. Like, I'm just kidding. But I hope that you're getting some pieces, because remember, joining a call like this, if you just get one piece out of it, right, that you can implement in your day, that might change the direction, right, of your journey. So I hope you got that out of today. And Keston, we talked about this throughout the week, right? What you're offering right now. I mean, obviously your programs and coaching changed since you first started and everything, but we talked about you wanting to do also something for the community here. Why don't you touch on that?
Absolutely, brother. And so guys, for Marcel and Trevor and Victor and just this entire community, because I am truly impressed with how you guys are just running. Truly impressed and happy. Like, my heart is always filled with joy just to see how one person getting over themselves could impact many lives. And let me just say this. How selfish of you to not get over your own self. How selfish. Because other people, millions of people are waiting on you to deal with that paradigm that you're not willing to deal with. Many people are waiting on you. Had I not dealt with my addiction to pornography and women and all these different things, I wouldn't be here today. How selfish of you, whatever your paradigm may be, to not get to that next level so that you could then in turn bless others. I want you guys to really think about that. Think about that. And so what I offered for Marcel and these guys, when I was blessed with this opportunity to come and share with you guys, was I wanted to invite you guys to come in to the Purpose Ways community. And in the Purpose Ways community, this is where I have a weekly call And this is a one-to-many call where every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I come on and I teach. There's slideshows. And so I teach based on different things of the mind and laws of the universe. I have different people coming in to teach because the premise of this group coaching is, what are the things I wish I knew before leaving my 9-to-5 job? What are those things that could have been a game changer for me that would have helped me to not have to figure it out scared? What are some of those things? And so I have different experts, from credit experts and business credit experts that come in. I have I just made a new connection, somebody who is helping me with points, the point system, and using points in a way to be able to travel in the best that you can. I'm making so many different connections, different types of investments. I'm not going too advanced because that's reserved for my high performance coaching people. But the point here is to be able to pour into you guys every Thursday. And typically this cost is an investment of $597 plus $67 a month. Unlimited. This goes on. There's no another renewal or anything like that. It's a one-time payment of $597 plus $67 a month. But because of Victor, Trevor, and Marcel, I want to offer this to you guys, waiving the $597 plus giving you 2 weeks free to see if you actually jive with this dude. Like, this dude with dreads, he's kind of crazy. He's kind of this, he's kind of that. Like, I wanted to give this to you guys just so that you could come in and see how transformational a lot of this information really is, because this is my purpose now. Like, going from doing real estate to doing this, like, we've made a lot of money in our real estate journey, and absolutely nothing fills me up like seeing someone else transform, seeing their lives change, seeing their families change. And so I wanted to offer this to you guys, and they were gracious enough to allow me to. So I'm gonna just drop that link in the chat, and guys, just check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, I hope that my testimony in the beginning, was at least a little bit of empowering, right? To at least check it out. I mean, because this is the aftermath right now, right here, right? This is the aftermath. Absolutely amazing. And I know, actually, matter of fact, although Trevor wasn't part of the program back then, I know that you had a big impact on Trevor back then too, because I know you guys went on a phone call someday, right? And he was, I mean, we can talk about that for another hour right now, right?
That's my skip the line brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, bro, I hear that phrase and it just it lights me up, brother. That's right. You're skip the line brother right here, man.
Yes,
skip the line, man. Skip the freaking line. Let's open it up. We have 8 minutes, I would say 10 minutes about left, right? Let's open it up, guys. We want to give the opportunity also for you to be able to ask questions. So if you do have a question for Keston here directly, raise your hand. We pull you up. I would highly encourage you to utilize this opportunity of proximity and this direct one-to-one option. If you don't, that's fine. We're going to continue because we still have a couple questions here that we can cover. But this is your chance. We leave it up for another 15 seconds, whatever. If you're ready, if you're wanting to ask questions, last 8, usually 15 minutes, right? We do a Q&A here. So if you have any questions, raise your hand. I don't see any hands going up right now. Looks like, nah, here we go. We have a hand. David jumped his paradigm, and I'm just kidding.
David and Lynn.
What's up, guys? Hey, Marcel. Hey, Trevor. Hey, Victor. Hey, Keston. How you guys doing?
What's up, bro?
What's
Good.
up,
How are
brother?
you?
Feeling
Good,
activated, bro.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I just want to jump on here before I ask my quick question and say that we were part of Keston's mentorship with Carlos. And we have nothing but good things to say. So anyone that's might be considering it, I would highly, highly recommend it. It really it made a huge impact in our lives, and it changed a lot of the way we do our business and things like that. And we were doing very well, and this kind of leads to our question, but we've been doing really well in real estate, especially in the single family sector, but we kind of encountered it, or we got kind of stuck. And it's something you mentioned earlier, Keston, where we were able to leave our 9-to-5 job, which is actually the goal, right? I mean, me and Lynn were engineers too, and the money was good, so it was always really hard to leave, but we were able to accomplish it. But the money's coming in, everything's going well, right? But I think, well, one of the things that we struggled with was like, okay, we're making money, like it was kind of cool, like, but now we're stuck because we don't, like, I think we're lacking that community. Like you mentioned earlier, I think you had a scenario. So I think we're kind of at a point where we were kind of missing our old coworkers, right? Having that social aspect. So yeah, we kind of wanted to ask, how do you approach that, or what do you recommend in that situation?
And then just to add, for me, Keston, both of us want to have kids one day. So the fear of, holy crap, how am I going to pay for the kids and pay for the when we get pregnant, when we have children, hospital bills. So the W-2 is something kind of like a security blanket where, okay, well, the insurance will help with the kids. So that's another thing too.
Like the benefits, right? And all that. And the reason why we're bringing all this up is because I think something's happening to us that happened to you, Keston, where when you quit your job, there was another friend that you knew that gave you an opportunity to come back with an even higher pay. And that's exactly what's happening to me and Lynn right now, where they're reaching out and they're like, hey, I'll pay you like way more money than what you were making. And now we were like, seriously, before we jumped on here, we were like, shit, should we go back and make money and get all these benefits and then do real estate on the side? Or what should we do? We're like really stuck on that right now.
What an amazing question. And and it's unfortunately not unique. Unfortunately. Here's why. I call it the dangling carrot. Like when you put that carrot in front of a rabbit and you could just have the rabbit try to chase it.
Yeah.
Every person, and guys, my family falls for this. They have. And I'm just like, oh man, like, cool. Here's what you need. That opportunity is always going to come because you guys are my clients. You understand cybernetic systems. You get that when I say that. For those who don't understand what a cybernetic system is, it's this force programming that tries to pull you back to the lifestyle that you used to be. No matter how much you try to change, it always tries to pull you back, okay? That's what's happening here. You're getting pulled back into the old lifestyle. It seems juicy, it seems nice, but here is what I need to ask you, and this is what makes this decision hard if this isn't clear. Purpose. In leaving a job, what's the purpose? What are you working towards, going to, that would make you say, no, I'm not going back because I'm pursuing my purpose, right? Unless that is solidified and clear, and that vision of where you're going is so strong, there's always going to be a doubt to go back. So what I would, anytime you get in situations like this, re-clarify your goals, re-clarify your vision, your purpose. Make sure that that is in alignment to what you need and where you're going. To the second question, you asked about community. again, see, and this is why it kind of always starts, or for me, where that destination, where you're going, is so important, because you could make friends with the people of where you're going. And so just like you're here, you have a new network of friends that's going in the same journey, of people that's buying multifamily and all that type of stuff. So now you got to get in the subset of the subset, right? Before, we had, my wife and I, we were in a bunch of marriage groups at the churches and all that type of stuff. But here's what. Now, as an entrepreneur, before we were 9-to-5ers, but now as entrepreneurs, it's hard for us to communicate with those people on the same level, because the conversation is just different now. So what we did recently was we joined a group, Lovepreneurs, where they talk about marriage, they talk about Christianity and all of that, but they're entrepreneurs, they understand it. And so you have to seek out the groups of the people that that you want to be around and like. They exist. Believe me, they exist. Everything you need exists. You're not the first. It's a matter of your RAS, reticular activator system, right? Like whatever you focus on is what you're going to see. The last question that you asked was, well, the first question was about insurance, kids, and all that type of stuff. Back up. I always like to start here. Somebody else did it, right? Like that makes me comfortable and happy. Somebody else did it. So once somebody else did it, now you need to find that person who did it and ask them questions, which is what we did when we were leaving. We found the person that did it and asked them questions. And so there are insurances and that type of stuff that you could buy, Obamacare, like that absolutely would qualify and help you through this entire process. It's not as scary as you think. It's only scary because the lack of knowledge is there right now.
Love it. Did that help you guys? Thumbs up? Yes. Awesome. Amazing. All right, guys, it's 9:31, so we're a minute over. You know how we roll. You know, we always gonna try to stay concise to schedule. So with that being said, Keston, man, thank you so much. I mean, I feel activated again. Trevor, I know you do too. Come on.
Of course, brother. You already know.
Thank you so much for joining, bro. Really, really appreciate you as always. And excited to see you again, bro. Excited to see you again here soon.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you guys for having me. Guys, it's such a pleasure being here. I hope you guys got something that you could take and make some kind of difference in your business. Approach your business a little bit differently, or like, especially when it comes to productivity. Always remember, it's not particularly you. It's probably something that you're procrastinating or not doing because of something that's running in your subconscious. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Thursday at the Zoom that I invited you guys into. Can't wait to be a part. Thank you guys, Trevor, Victor, Marcel, bro. Peace and love. Thank you guys, man.
Peace and
Thank
love,
you,
brother.
Keston. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you,
Thank
bro.
you.
All right, guys, with that, we're gonna get to close here as well. Just a quick reminder again, next week, Wednesday, not Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll host our event at the Moxie in Miami. If you can make it, if you're down in Florida, you know, we'd love to see you guys there, and huddle up, get to know you in person, and see what the future got in storage, right? What we can do together, what we can all accomplish here together as a community. We'll make sure we send out a couple emails or something like that, text messages, of course, and put an event in the Facebook groups just as a reminder as well. And last but not least, Trevor, you quickly want to talk about what's coming up next week, of course, and where people need to plug in?
Absolutely. Our ecosystem is going to be live and ready to rock and roll just like every other week. So we got activated with our celebrity guests. Jump in and learn how to talk to brokers tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern with Billionaire Pete, and just keep it rolling. through each segment of the ecosystem, continue building up that multifamily skill set, grow and develop, and let's continue collectively each and every day, consistent action on our chase for freedom.
Let's go, guys. Exactly. With that, happy Sunday, guys. Go friggin' crush it. We're gonna report from Fund Launch Live, and excited to keep moving forward. The community, for the community, by the community, or however you say that right.
That's
With
right,
that,
brother.
guys, see you guys. Happy Sunday evening.